We're going to start our study session. And before we start, I would like to say happy birthday to our Deputy City Clerk, Katie McBride. Happy birthday, Katie.
I know, right?
Happy birthday.
Where's the cake?
I ate it.
I ate it. All righty, Counselor Allen.
Hi. Were you able to get more information?
They did send a letter, I believe, to you concerning the property. They're not giving out much more detail.
Okay. So I didn't receive the letter, so I'm gonna hold this.
I'll give you a copy.
Okay. And I'll still hold it because I don't have enough time right now to actually look into it and make a informed decision. So I'll hold it.
Okay. But they're planning some sort of mixed-use development.
Okay.
Is what the gist of it is.
Okay. So I'll hold it, and then maybe I'll be able to actually talk to somebody from there, and then we'll go from there next time.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Commissioner of Deeds today?
I'm sorry, no.
No Commissioner of Deeds, so I'll withdraw that one. Counselor Thompson.
Thank you, Madam President. I have items 10 through 20. These items are ready. I have somebody here from Syracuse University, if you'd like some more explanation on 17.
Yes.
Good afternoon, counselors. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Great. So,
Introduce yourself and for the mic. And
sure. My name is Tony Callisto. I'm the Senior Vice President for Safety and the Chief Law Enforcement Officer at Syracuse University.
Thank you.
So my question for you is SU security going to maintain these cameras?
So we will be working with the City Police Department on the installation, and certainly we'll work with them on any maintenance issues that might come up relative to those cameras.
For how long?
Well, I can only speak for the next few years that I know I'm going to be around. Certainly, I'll continue to provide support to the police department for the next few years. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You had a question?
I'll ask before, Councilor Green. Was this a continuation of your initial phase with the cameras?
So this is a second phase. The first phase was in 2016, and there were 11 cameras placed in the neighborhood where students live. This would add 8 additional cameras in the neighborhood, and it's the next logical phase to basically have areas where folks who might do crime would have to travel through to be able to get to the neighborhood where the students live.
Thank you.
So I guess my question is, can you tell me a little bit about the outreach to the neighborhood groups and what their response was?
So we met with several leaders of several different neighborhood groups back on April 22nd and walked through the plan with them. Not only my team, but also leadership lieutenants from the City Police Department. We met with Mike Stanton from Siuna, Rebecca Mannion from Thornton Park Association, Matt Oja from TNT East Side, Grant Johnson from the Westcott neighborhood, Kate Hammer from Rent from Ben, Lieutenants Schultz and Lindgren were present at this meeting, and a number of folks from Syracuse University. We walked them through a three-point safety plan where the technology and the cameras was one part of that in trying to enhance our student safety and our neighborhood safety. And we followed that up by sending them a written summary with regards to the general layout of where the additional cameras would be, and received positive feedback from each from the groups.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you. Tony. Otherwise, those are my items, and my items are ready if there's no other questions.
Thank you. Councilor Rudd.
Thank you, Madam President. I have items 21 through 24. They're ready.
Thank you. Councilor Green.
Thank you, Madam President. I have items 25 through 30, and those items are ready unless there's any questions.
Yeah, what's up with number 25? Are we I remember we originally talked about holding that. Is that what we're doing? Are we having a committee meeting on that, or?
Yeah, is she here? Yeah, but it was pretty basic.
What's that? There was a follow-up? I might have missed it.
Hi, Janet Burke from the Bureau of Research.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I
I
guess,
didn't know there was a question. You had asked that I send the application,
okay.
which I did. I don't know if you saw it in your email. I sent it on Wednesday.
Okay, cool. So everybody is good with it?
well, I mean, I think
It's just the application process.
the details of it are still something. And I know this is a grant application, so we don't know everything. But at the end of the day, we're still required to have a large match, and it's not clear to me exactly what we are going to be using that for.
No, and I have to be honest with you. We have a meeting at 2:00 this afternoon. If any of you would care to join us in the engineering department conference room, that's where we're going to work on how much will be spent for roads, sidewalks, and the infrastructure, and then some of the match will be coming from programs that are already going in the city for surge from other agencies. We'll be able to use some of that money, but I'm not sure what the percentage is towards the match.
Is there a deadline between now and the next meeting? Would we be able to hold it until that?
The deadline, it has to be submitted by the 24th, which is why we had to put it in now, because there isn't another meeting where we would be more developed. But I certainly will keep you up to date on what we come up with.
So Janet, this is going to go into the South Gateway, correct?
I'm sorry?
This is going to go into this says the Southern Gateway?
Yes. It's from the 400 block of South Salina Street to Cortland Ave.
Okay, so it's going to go through the South Gateway. Okay. Thank you, because it's long overdue.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Kearney. I'm sorry, are you done, Councilor Green?
Yep. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Councilor Kearney.
Thank you, Madam President. I have items 31 through 36. I'm going to call those ready unless there were any further questions on them. No? Okay.
Thank you. Councilor Lovejoy is not here, but she called that one ready, so I am going to call that ready. Councilor Allen.
Thank you. I have items 38 through 63. I know we do have a question on item 38. If there's anybody here to answer a question.
Stephanie Pasquale, Commissioner of Neighborhood and Business Development. Are there any questions?
Yeah, I had two questions, Commissioner. One is a question about MBE or WBE participation, just whether we have it or not. And then two, on the projects that might be for deconstruction, who's using who's collecting the material after that? And let me explain my question. Obviously, for deconstruction, the material is reused. Oftentimes, the material is sold for profit. And so I'm wondering if the city is keeping that material for its purposes, or if the contractor is. And if the contractor is, has that been factored into their pay?
Sure. Well, to answer your first question about whether the 7 firms, if any, or how many of them are MWB certified, I'll have to get back to you on that. This was that initial pool from a while ago that we had sent out the RFQs for. Regarding deconstruction, to my knowledge, most of the cases that go through are emergencies, and we get a Department of Labor waiver, which means you're not supposed to be going, no one is supposed to be going into those properties to retrieve materials that it's been deemed unsafe for that. We have, since the city, I know other entities like the Land Bank and Home Headquarters have done official deconstruction where actual components are taken out, but to my knowledge, we have not.
Okay, I'm asking obviously because deconstruction is mentioned, and obviously I'm not talking about any random people going in and taking material. I'm talking about the
actual
persons who are
contractors.
doing the deconstruction.
If you'd like, if it would be helpful, I can get a section of the contract that covers deconstruction.
Okay.
And I could give you a summary plus that section so that you could have comfort with what it details in terms of if anything were to be resold, how that's handled.
Okay, I appreciate that because, just from understanding some previous deconstruction efforts, even with the county, I know there's a lot of profit there, and I know when the county at one time in the past was considering contracting with companies that did deconstruction, the potential benefit that they would get from the material was factored into their pay. And so ultimately, the cost to the county is reduced because of, does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, no, I'll look into that and get you those sections.
Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. All right, item 39 was ready. 40 is ready. 41 is ready. And Councilor Bay, you have another question on 42 as well, correct?
Yeah, I don't know, I may have missed it, but I want a clarification for why this was being rezoned. Is it being rezoned for a specific project?
Yes, sir. There's a proposal to construct an 80,000 square foot warehouse with loading and docking bays. And because of the nature of the proposed warehouse, the property owner opted to go through a plan development review as opposed to other methods available through the zoning ordinance.
We have any idea what type of warehouse?
I believe it's for United Auto.
Okay. That's okay. I do remember that. All right. Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right.
Counselor, could I have a question on item 41?
Yep.
Is there anybody here?
Yes, sir.
It says 3 parcels, 12, 24, 26, and 28, East Fayette Street. Are these going to be torn down and combined, or what's going to?
There is a companion re-subdivision application that's been approved to combine the 3 properties into one lot. There is no proposed demolition. The applicant is redeveloping. There are 2 structures on these properties, and they're going to redevelop one of the structures for the coffee house.
One's going to be a coffee shop, and then what's the other?
I don't know what the existing use for the second structure is.
Okay, so nothing's going to be torn down? Nothing's
No, sir.
demolished? Okay.
Thank you. All right, item 43, I'll hold. Item 44. I'm gonna hold 44, and item 45.
That is ready,
Okay,
and so is 46.
46.
And hold 46 for
46.
me.
The Burger Ave one, you wanna hold that?
So 176 Burger is ready, but 184 is held, right?
All right, so 45 is ready, 46 will hold. Item 47 is ready, 48 is ready, 49 is ready, 50 is ready, 51,
I'll call that ready.
52 withdrawn, 53. You held it the other day.
Held,
but-
please.
Okay.
Continue to hold that one.
All right. 54 is ready. 55 is ready.
56 I'd like to hold.
Okay.
And Commissioner Pascal, could I ask you about item 57, 1218 Glen Cove? we received an email. I don't know if any other councils run it, but I received an email from the property owner talking about readjusting the truss. She had spoken to you. Not ringing any bells?
She probably did speak to someone in our office. I could get you more information, but I did not speak to this owner myself.
She had you listed as Amanda Pascal in the email. So
Amanda Pascal actually works at home headquarters, and she does work with a lot of tax foreclosure cases.
Okay, maybe that was the situation.
No
then.
relation.
I thought it was a misspelling. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna hold it. If you can, maybe I'll send you an email about this one. It seems, just want to make sure that it's all on track. She had a lot of financial problems, wanted to reset up her trust, and I think she'd already set something up and defaulted on it, but she's trying to hold on to her home. And there's a, just like to see if we can find a good resolution to the situation. So I'll follow up with you later then.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Carney?
58, 59, and 60 are all ready.
Okay. All right, 61.
I'll hold as well.
And 62 is ready, and 63 is ready.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilor Bay.
Thank you, Madam President. I have item number 64. I don't know if there are any questions. It's essentially a Main Street grant. If there are any questions, no? Yes? Councilor Love.
Sorry. Were there questions answered with regard to whether there had already been grants applied for? I think there were some questions at the study session about that. So maybe someone from the MOST had already could.
Is there anyone here
This is
who?
a MOST application that we have to endorse. It's their application.
Then I'm wrong. Then it was someone else who.
It was a question I had asked about SMTC, and Janet reached out to Corey and SMTC, so we're on track now. We're good.
Would it be helpful to lay out that, or?
No, because at this point, the SMTC is not happening right now, so we're just going to move forward.
Okay. Just wanted to follow that up. I'm fine.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. If there are no other questions or concerns, I'll call that ready.
Mike, you have a question?
No, for the next one.
No. Okay. Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Green.
Thank you. I have item 65.
Good afternoon. Again, Stephanie Pasquale, Commissioner of Neighborhood and Business Development.
Good afternoon, councilors. John Kivlin, Engineering.
So do you want to just take everyone through the entire story?
Sure. And you'll fill in if I mess it up right. So the Urban Renewal Agency has been working on redeveloping what's commonly referred to as Perseverance Park on Salina Street for several years, and recently we received a bid for the work to be performed in drawings, and the board accepted that plan at the Urban Renewal Agency. As part of this partnership, there still are connective corridor dollars that are available to be spent to help redevelop this park. And in order for that sort of transfer to happen, this request went in for, rather than having DPW physically help remove the concrete as part of the project, the connective corridor will reimburse DPW to have that service performed on SURA's behalf. So this legislation is to enter into that agreement with the Urban Renewal Agency because the parcel is owned by SURA and not the city, if that makes sense. I'm not sure if you all were provided a drawing of what the final concept is. I'd be happy to get that to folks, but the phase one to get started this summer and to make sure we can access those dollars before they run out this fall was to enter into this arrangement. Did I get that correct?
I got it correct.
Thank you.
So can you talk a little bit more about what comes next in terms of the next, the design and what's included in it and what it'll look like?
Sure. It's a modest redevelopment of the parcel. They will be tearing up the existing tar yard and concrete to have sort of a visually interesting pattern on there with some new benches, lighting, trash receptacles, bicycle racks. Am I forgetting? Tree pits, landscaping that will sort of reactivate that same space that right now just has the blue squiggly lines on it.
And what would the timeline be for implementing that phase of it?
Well, we're hopeful to get going right away so that it would be completed by early fall, right?
Correct.
And does providing this work, does this detract from our street reconstruction or any other projects that DPW is doing?
Not to my knowledge.
No, we've coordinated with DPW and the contractor who works for Street Structures, Ballard Construction, and they have the forces to do this work without impacting street recon.
Any green space?
There's limited green space. We're maintaining the green space that's already there, the sort of berm and the hill, and that is really not part of this parcel that's being redeveloped, but the vast majority, there will be landscaping and new tree pits, but not additional actual grass.
There's 2 planters, Counselor, 2 new planters.
On Sliner or on Fayette?
They're actually in the park, on the perimeter of the park. There's 2 triangular planters with landscaping.
Outside of funding from the Connective Corridor, is there any additional interest that Syracuse University has in this project or parcel?
Not to my knowledge. The Urban Renewal Agency has had allocated for several years their own funding, $300,000 to cover the other parts of the project, but not the Connective Corridor was the only conversation I believe we've had regarding this particular park renovation.
Is there other Connective Corridor money in other areas lying dormant for the time being?
I can't answer that, but I'd be happy to find out more.
Okay. How much of this money is Connective Corridor money specifically?
What's being asked will be fully covered by the Connective Corridor for that part, the contract with the city.
So it's between the 60 and 173, or it's 173?
I think that covers
That covers all the work. There's furnishings being installed, provided through SU. They're going to pay for the removal of the concrete. That's through the street structure. So that's the total funds coming from the Connective Corridor.
It includes all those benches, tree pits, trash cans, bike racks. Did I say planters? All the other items to be ordered.
Can you just send the rendering to all the counselors?
Absolutely.
Any other questions? Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and with that, I need a motion to adjourn. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Call adjourn.